This administration, including the immediate past administration, have always had a knack for gacking or kind of silencing the freedom to free speech. We saw the move by the then President Muhammadu Buhari, who shut down the Twitter platform from Nigerians openly criticizing, poor governance. We are about seeing such again this time around, where the social media is about to be reviewed, obviously for the same reasons. Now, that's my question to you. What is it about this administration trying to silence the freedom to free speech and the idea about having the hallowed chamber as a family affair as opposed to what it should be as a form of representation at various platforms?
Okay, for the hallowed chambers, the basic job of the National Assemblies is actually to make laws. For the judiciary is to interpret the laws, the executive is to implement it. But we find out that in Nigeria that they have left their basic function of making laws, and they have become project managers, contractors, and everything. So, and there is the way they romance with the executive, because you see, even if you send a budget to the National Assembly and they tamper with it, and as the president, you refuse to sign it, after 30 days, that budget becomes law. I think it really has to do with our law and our system of government. Number one, we have laws that are weak, that do not protect the people in the hands of these politicians. It was not supposed to be that lawmakers will be the ones doing projects. It is not their forte. It is not their job. That is why you have the executive there. That is why we have several MDAs who have to do, who will do this job. In fact, even in their own constituency projects, they're only supposed to nominate, okay, my area, this is what we need. And they give the MDA, go and implement it. By the end of the day, you find out that both the MDA, the contractors, and the lawmakers are in same bucket. Everything is profit. And when they do these things, you will never see party affiliation. As we speak today, we have Labour Party members in that assembly, NMPP, APGA, APC, PDP, SDP, all of them collected the money and were quiet. You will never hear Christian Muslim anytime it comes to that. You see, that is why personally I always say anytime I'm opportune to talk on the type of the system of government we run is too expensive. I don't think we should have a National Assembly, number one, this big, and number two, I think this is the time to restructure. Let each state be independent. Bring government closer to the people. Let powers come from the local government, so that the money will not come from up, down. The money will come from down, up. The people will feel the government more. That was how we started doing regional government. And we could see the success rate. But what we currently run now, and the worst of it all is that if you have to restructure and change things, it is still the same National Assembly or State Assembly you will go to. Buhari tried as much as possible. I want local government autonomy. I want autonomy for the judiciary. The Senate tried to pass, but the State House of Assembly, what you see the Senate do is the same thing they do in houses of assemblies. You just see a total madness everywhere. And the people don't even have an idea of what goes on. So if Ningi had not come out to say anything, even other small political parties that we thought would have our interest at heart, kept quiet. And Ningi, trying to retract what he has said, it shows that he also was not doing it for good purposes. All
right. Are you saying now that the explanation to it's a family affair, it's about when it comes to budget appropriation, it's a period for money sharing, as against what their constitutional mandate should be, which is legislation of laws? Is that what you're saying? Which gives explanation to the issue of family affair?
When it comes to the time for budget, the National Assembly knows very well that this is our time, and this is a yearly ritual for them. Our time to put our constituency projects, our time to go to these ministries and MDAs, these are the projects I want you to put in your budget. If you don't put it, by the time it comes to me in the National Assembly, we will not pass it.
Hence a family affair.
So whether you like it or not, it's almost becoming like, will I say the give and take, or maybe the family affair that they are referring to, in the sense that they really do not want Nigerians to know exactly how bad things are. But to be sincere, Nigerians need to know that things are not getting any better. You can tell people to tighten their own belt, whereas your own constituency projects, you are still doing them. You are still collecting all this money. In fact, the Honorable Speaker Tajuddin Abbas gave extra 100 million naira to each House of Rep member. He said it. It's in the public there. You can go and see it. Very reckless. So you see, and for me, we need laws that will protect the people.
All right.
If you think the executives alone can do it, it's not possible, because they still need to pass through these people. So I think this is where I require people like the CSOs, the labor, well-meaning Nigerians to come out and to fight this to a particular level. So
that was going to lead up to my next question, and of course, as we round off, because our time is almost spent. When you say CSOs, civil society organizations, to hold members of the Senate and House of Representatives accountable for such situations, I was going to ask, what is the implication of this budget pardon? I know it's not news to any Nigerian who follows the news. You would have heard budget pardon in several administrations past. But we just hear it in the news and that's it. You know, nobody actually takes the fall for such an indiscriminate practice. Is that what you mean by CSOs holding people accountable?
For example, if you look at SERAP, if you look at some organizations, Budget IT and Co, you'll see how they come to the public with information. SERAP sometimes sues the government. So we expect quite a whole lot of, even political parties. You can see Labour Party now taking the lead, trying to challenge status quo. You see, until people gather together and say enough is enough, we would always continue in this type of life. For the assembly members, you can call it pardon. They will call it their constitutional powers, because truly, when the Minister of Budget, Atiku Bagudu, came, what did he say? He said, yes, the National Assembly has the powers to increase or reduce the budget. It's within their statutory powers. So if the Assembly members tells you the reason why we are increasing this thing, putting 500 million for street lights, in fact, if you look at it, you see quite a lot of funny names: Federal College of Land Resources, Agriculture Research Council of Nigeria, Institute of Oceanography. The executive will put a budget of 2 billion. The National Assembly will increase it to about 22 billion, 35 billion, 50 billion. Then begin to wonder, what is a Federal Ministry of Federal College of Land Resources in Owerri doing with 50-something billion? Of course, you will know that this is where they hide so many of their things. They look for very, very unpopular or moribund institutions and hide this money there. It's becoming a way of life in Nigeria. That is why you see they will do everything within their powers. You can see the former Senate president, despite the fact that he was still contesting for presidency, found his way back into the Senate. They sit there not because of the interest of the people, but because they know this is what. So look at most of the state governors. Once they leave here, they are going here because they know this is where our bread is also buttered. And coming back to the questions you have said about the government trying to gag people, I think Nigeria is much more than that. Even during the Buhari years, trying to shut down Sudan, at the end of the day, what was the result? I don't think this government will go down and trying to shut down Twitter, shut anything. Though there are supposed to be quite a management of information in the country, because sometimes you hear a lot of things that are lies, outright lies, and there are laws, cyber crime, cyber bullying, and a whole lot of misinformation to protect it. But the government trying to shut down the internet space or information, I don't see that happening in this dispensation.